Scalable people systems are non-negotiable. I think for me in my role, right, I think some of the things that I've realized is you can't fuel growth with processes that break under pressure. So how do we build strong processes, strong systems and frameworks has been the other learning. And then finally, I think what people are expecting is transparency and trust, and a sense that they belong. So how do we bring that to them as leaders as well, I think is the other learning for me. If I think you also asked me, what are some of the things I've been doing? I can also talk about the fact that before I even talk about our strategy, which is what we developed in the first 3 months, I think the most important thing for me to focus on was to connect across the org, from leaders to people managers to employees. And so I've been traveling across our offices, connecting virtually, because I truly feel that as a function, right, we need to be connected to ground reality. And employees should be able to find us approachable and share what's on their minds, because it really helps us prioritize what we should be focused on, right? Because there can be 100 things to do, but what would be the top 5 that are most, let's say, impactful for our people is where that helps us as well. So my team and I created a 3-year people strategy in line with our business strategy as well as the employee voice that we heard. And there were 3 key elements that we identified. So we said, okay, how can we focus on helping the organization become future fit, strengthen our culture, and become a talent magnet? So those were the 3 key areas that we said we'll focus on as our people strategy. It's about how do we put people at the center of our decisions, because at the end of the day, they are the ones who drive business. So if I were to talk about my interpretation, I mean, think of this role as the company's head gardener, right? How do we cultivate talent? How do we prune obstacles? How do we ensure the culture blooms? If I were to give you like an analogy, right? And my interpretation would be that if business is the head, this role expectation is to be the strategic heart, right? That keeps people at the center of business decisions, because they are the ones, as I said, who pretty much bring us the competitive advantage as well. And they're the reason the businesses exists. So in very simple terms, that's what I think of Chief People Officer and what that should be.